love college athletics, and Rhett's accentuated that, and I just think it's terrific. And I know our fans enjoy it, and a lot of fun.
Would you like to see it at other sports?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, Rhett's been experimenting with that. And of course, our friends over at the Raptor Center have been just outstanding with that, working with us. So it's a lot of fun. And I loved Dylan Cardwell's little thing that he had at the Raptor Center, and the look on his face. Was that not the best? That was so great. What a great kid. He looked at me, that's the same look I would have had.
And then too, just the renovations with Plainsman Park, just
Sure.
wanted to ask, what the update is and kind of how those things are coming along.
Yeah, we've been working with Butch. When you look at these facility updates, you're asking yourself, what's our goal here? Are we trying to help the fan? Are we trying to make this a better experience for the fan? Are we trying to make it better for the student athlete? What's the goal here? And we want to do both. We want to make a better experience for the fan. We want to have a better home field advantage. We want to do some things in this project for the student athlete as well. I think you're going to be able to see the progress pretty quickly. We have made a couple of adjustments, and again, Butch has been a part of that. So has Rhett, and I think our fans and our student athletes are going to be very pleased when they see the result. It's going to take a little time. We'll have some things ready for the 24 season. Some of the things won't be ready until after the conclusion of the 24 season.
John, recently, Notre Dame's deal with Under Armour is expiring. They're a free agent. Auburn's deal is getting ready to come up. How close are you even engaging conversations or considering and kind of where you?
Yeah, certainly. We've had conversations with Under Armour. I've only been at Auburn for 6 months, so my knowledge of the history of this relationship is a little bit limited, although I'm getting information from our coaches, from our student athletes. Obviously, our fans, as in most cases, have an opinion. So we're doing a lot of research. We're going to enter a stage in September the 1st where we're allowed, to speak openly about this subject. But we will do a lot of research. We'll do our due diligence, and we'll be ready to have conversations about the future of Auburn and our apparel partner. And I have had some discussions with Under Armour. They've been terrific, and we'll see where it takes us in the future.
John, you guys approved the Pat Dye field sort of work and as a lot of his upkeep in April. There's been the north end zone renovation sort of tabled for several years. How keen are you to pick those back up in the future? And has that even been a conversation that you guys have had?
Certainly, everything's been on the table in terms of facility updates, and the north end zone is something that has come up conversationally between myself and Dr. Roberts. I'd say we're just very much in the research phase of that. Looking at the history of that. I do think that there are many parts of Jordan Hare that can be updated, worked on. It's one of the great, if not the best, game day atmosphere in college football. But you're always looking to improve the experience for the fan. And we have some excellent, obviously our student section is tremendous, and we want to accentuate that. We want to accentuate the premium opportunities. There have been some things that have happened around the country in terms of making upper decks and seating better for the fans, and we're going to look into that as well. But right now, I'd say it's a lot of data gathering, a lot of informational gathering, and I do feel like the future is really bright for what Jordan Hare could look like.
And sticking with the realm of facilities, what's latest on from the athletic director perspective on the basketball arena as far as more practice facilities? Bruce has been kind of active about that.
Yeah, I think we're at a stage where the landscape and I think Bruce would be the first to tell you, the landscape of college athletics has changed a little bit in terms of priorities, right? So, name, image, and likeness funding comes from a very similar source to facility funding. I mean, that's the reality of it. It's not a secret. None of you, I mean, all of you are fully aware of that. So we have to go on this with our eyes open, and we have to make priority decisions in terms of the flow of funding for priority. So I don't think it's any secret that name, image, and likeness opportunities for student athletes has become a priority around the country, and we have to be competitive in that area. And thank goodness we have groups of folks who believe that as well. So yes, those two things have to balance out: future facility opportunities along with opportunities for our student athletes.
In regards to that, have you discussed the possibility of maybe taking a little bit away from Tigers Unlimited and how much they charge for premium seating and those type of things to maybe move some of that money around a little bit?
You talking about for name, image, and likeness opportunities?
Right, because you talk about you only get so much money from people, and a lot of them are giving it to Tigers Unlimited for seating, and maybe reducing that in some way so that you can free up for other things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there can't be direct involvement in any way,
right?
So that all those decisions have to be made by those who are kind enough, generous enough to give. They make that decision. But again, as mentioned before, the world has changed, and we have to adjust with the landscape. And if this is a priority to the student athlete, which it certainly is, we have seen, then we have to ask our fans and our donors. They have to change. We all have to change.
Can I ask the baseball coach you what
Sure.
you've observed from Auburn these past 4 series?
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, just maybe some arms that weren't as accurate early in the year, and those arms have just become very good. I think Butch Thompson, and of course Brock coming in this year as well, has a track record of arms getting better throughout the course of the year. In college baseball, you see a little bit of a trend. If young arms especially don't throw strikes early, they kind of get pushed to the background. What Butch and Rock do such a great job of is they keep encouraging, they keep sending those kids out who might not have had great success early on, and they keep giving them opportunities. And you have seen really great results from that. I mean, you have some arms, especially in the bullpen, that don't look anything like what they looked in the first half of the SEC season, and that's coaching, that's encouragement, that's leadership. I'm not taking anything away from the student athletes and players. They've done a great job as well, but I think Auburn's 1 through 9 is as solid as anybody's in the league. It might not have the same kind of star power, but if you look at the consistency of 1 through 9, it's pretty good. If you look at the consistency of the defense, 1 through 9 is pretty good. We also have a softball program that was on a run, especially in the second half of the season. It was right on the edge of maybe potentially hosting. I know they're disappointed. We're disappointed. But at the same time, they have this great challenge of going to a regional at Clemson, and I think they have a great opportunity. When you have Matty Penta on the mound, you always have the opportunity to win the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year. So they're so much fun to watch. You're talking about a very balanced lineup, a great defensive ball club, and arguably maybe the best pitcher in the country. I mean, that's fun to watch. So we're excited to see how that regional unfolds as well. And how about golf?
I would imagine you don't want to talk too much about that the draw they got there, huh?
You talking about
softball?
Yeah, here's what I know. The last 3 years, having sat in one of those rooms, it's hard. It's really hard, especially when you're matching up East Coast, West Coast. There's not a lot of cross-pollination in terms of those teams competing against each other. It's difficult to create those matchups, and that committee had a very difficult task at hand. Do I feel like our regional is pretty difficult? and softball, of course, but I think we're very capable of competing at that level, and I know that those kids and our coaching staff look forward to that challenge.
How much did you enjoy watching them golf win today? You know, the regional on their home course.
Oh, just terrific. I mean, just terrific. And in fact, on the 18th, when our last kid on the 18th, oh my God, Valdez, you know, he hits his second shot. He's almost OB. It almost hits the cart path. If it hits the cart path, you're talking about drama. If it hits the cart path, it's going to go another 50 yards. He's probably going to get OB. It kind of sits right by the cart path. You know, he gets his club length away from the cart path and really plays one of the most difficult shots on the entire course and just plays it beautifully. It's so much fun to watch. All of our teams, and you can talk about our tennis teams that competed at a very high level, our two golf teams. It's just fun to watch these kids compete, represent Auburn the right way.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.